Good morning, and welcome to all of you who are sharing your time with us this morning in this episode of Real Living in Northwest Indiana. How are you, Brent?
I'm good. How are you, Bill?
I'm doing well. So I'm assuming with your little ones, school is done, right?
Last Friday.
Last
Yes,
Friday.
sir.
Okay. What trips, what major summer events are you planning for them, you, and family right now?
Well, honestly, I sell real estate, so none. You can't like that's like the prime time, right? Like you
That's
got to be
so
around.
true.
No, I don't know. We might do like a little something here and there, like a weekend thing, but we don't travel a lot right now because my youngest daughter's 2,
Yeah.
and so that definitely does not make it easy. She's getting ready to turn 3. She's getting a little older, but yeah, we might go up to Minnesota to see some family or something, but
Okay.
I yeah, nothing planned. What about you, Bill?
Nothing planned. Well, nothing major planned.
Okay.
We have a lot of family and or friends wedding events that we've been invited to. So that's going to take up, some weekends here and there. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like when you have little kids, right? Like every weekend, it's like a birthday, a this, a that. And it's like, you get 2 kids, 3 kids, and they all have their own kind of separate friends. So then you got to drop a kid off here, take them there. They got soccer practice, they got gymnastics.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I'd like to do a Disney trip, but a lady who's a travel agent. I didn't even know they existed anymore.
Oh, really? Yeah, they exist. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not like something you see, you know what I mean? Like really ever. But she was telling me about Disney, and I would love to go
Yeah.
right around Halloween because she said if you go for like 5 days, say you fly in on the 30th, you do Magic Kingdom for Halloween for the parade and the trick or treating and everything. It's really cool.
Yeah.
She said then you go do something else for a couple days. You come back
Yeah.
to United Kingdom and you got Christmas. So you get 2 holiday festivities in one trip.
True
So,
that. True that.
so that's what I want to try doing.
Yeah. You maximize. So I hear kind of the big bucks you got to drop at Disney World these days.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
All right. So for all of you watching Brent and myself this morning, if this is your first time sharing your time with us, we are your co-host in this episode of Real Living in Northwest Indiana. So Brent, let's start off with the usual thing we do, sharing value to our audience members, and that is you're dropping a monthly update.
Yeah, so it looks bad, but it's not bad. That makes sense.
Smart.
So home sales were down 15.42% compared to last year in the same time for the month of May. The average sale price was down 2.12%, and the price per square foot was down about 0.5%.
Okay.
Median price was unchanged. Time on market increased from 21 days to 41 days. So things are definitely slowing down a little bit, but they're kind of not at the same time, if that makes sense. What we've noticed is, and then I started really digging deep and I started comparing to because people think this is a bad market. So then I started comparing things to 2019, right? And
Right.
we're still at the market times and everything. We're well above that. There was a 71-day market time back then with the average sale price of 207,000, whereas now our average sale price is over 277,000.
Oh, wow.
So we've seen a major increase. But then other areas, which I'm not going to go into this because it'll take forever. But
Okay.
like, I'll give you an example, like Whiting, Hammond, East Chicago. There's a lot of money being brought into these communities that are close to the border of Chicago.
Right.
Just East Chicago alone, the average home sale price increased 29.61% in the month of May of 22 versus 21. Hammond North increased 22.82%. Hammond South, 20%. I mean, so these are some big numbers that we're seeing.
Right.
And if you go through each community, what you're finding is where the typically the lower end homes are at, they're increasing at 20 to 30% in value in literally a 12-month span,
Right.
and but the higher end homes are being reduced down.
Oh, wow.
Or
Interesting.
maybe not selling as much, right?
Yeah, yeah. Not selling as much. Well, it's a smaller pool of eligible buyers, right?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, especially like what we hit 7% again, right? So if you take that buyer, basically like how I look at it, you take that guy that was maybe $1 million buyer, a year and a half ago, he's about a 650,000 buyer today. So
Right.
that's a big reduction.
True.
So
True. Though, okay, so I understand what you mean by, well, it's bad, but not so bad.
certain areas are doing exceptionally well.
Okay.
Is that's like what I was getting at. And then like the crazy thing is like we talk of these prices. I want to go back to 2012 even. The average market time, that's a bad market, right? 2012, Northwest Indiana, that's actually when we hit our bottom and we started kind of projecting upwards,
Yeah.
right? Like everybody thinks 2008, 9, but really it didn't bottom out here until around 12. The average sales price was $146,000. Now it's over 277,000. That's
Wow.
like a 90 something percent increase in 11 years.
Wow.
Like that's insane. The market time was 144 days back then in the month of May for what closed. So what, 6 months plus?
Right.
Just about, just shy of 6 months,
Yeah.
five and a quarter.
Yeah.
You know, so selling a home in 30 days is not bad.
That is not bad.
No.
And for those sellers that you are helping right now, good for them. They're walking away with a bucket of coin.
Oh, a lot of them are. Yeah, a lot of them are. So, and they're doing well. I mean, the downfall is right. Like they've got to buy another house. The
True.
rates are definitely not in their favor. So a lot of people are staying put. You're kind of seeing the, retirees, job relocations. That's like kind of the big selling pool right now. You know.
Yeah, we talked about that. Those are the events that really trigger Brent. I got to do it. I got to do it now. I got to do it within X amount of time. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're limited.
Yeah. So with that nice little segue, um, can you share from your perspective with as many people that you're helping in Northwest Indiana? Why are some households moving back to their hometown or moving back for whatever the reasons are?
Well, I think so. A lot of people are moving back. I'll give you an example. Like the last 2 weeks, I've talked to like 3 or 4 different people that have moved back from Florida, which I wasn't really estimating. Like, you don't usually hear that.
Right.
The one couple was moving back because they were in the area of the hurricane that hit
Yeah.
south of Tampa, what Myers Beach or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, they were inland a little bit, so their house wasn't really affected or anything like that, but their area was, and they're
Oh,
just like, no, we gotta get out of here. Some are moving back because of family reasons.
okay.
And honestly, I don't know about you, like growing up, right? Northwest Indiana was kind of cold. Chicagoland was cold. You get some cold in the winter, but yeah, I don't even think I had to like use my snowblower this year. And I'm watering my grass like I'm in freaking Arizona. You know, like I gotta water my grass for hours on end trying to get it to come back to life because it died in a 90-degree heat. We haven't had rain in forever. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Same
so
here.
I think the weather's changing. People are like, man, this is kind of nice. Let's go back. You know.
Yeah. I wish though our weather here in the Midwest would change to the point where we joked about, well, you hinted at it earlier, where it would be consistently like in California, right?
Oh, that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
That would be
So
amazing.
I did read an article though, and you know how like scientists always come out with predictions and stuff like California's going to break off, and it doesn't happen. But maybe they're right with this one. Last year I kept getting these alerts on my phone, and I was so busy I just kept ignoring it. But then I went back and read the article, and they were saying a new heat belt in the U.S. is being formed, and that heat belt is going from Texas, like central to eastern Texas through Mississippi, and
Okay.
it's going to go straight up through Wisconsin, the eastern part of Wisconsin, and central to western part of Michigan.
Yeah.
And in the hottest points of the year, we should expect temperatures around 125 degrees. Well, so basically, that we're turning into a desert is the way that I understood it. So I don't know if it's true, but hey, I think Arizona and New Mexico has more rain than we do right now, right?
Uh,
For the year.
for the year, but
Yeah.
I think they're still running a deficit as far as like water supply, right?
Right. Yep.
I mean, lucky for us, we don't have that issue from our local municipalities. But one thing for sure, the cost of watering your watering your lawn is a lot more expensive now than a year ago for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really want to see the bill. So
Me too. Me too. I
whatever.
know. um, all right. So, for all of you watching us this morning and listening to this conversation, as Brent touched upon it, and I completely agree. If you're facing that life event of having to move, and specifically moving to Northwest Indiana, as we just talked about, it's usually for those life events of, okay, gotta be back closer to family, right? That's priceless. That's valuable. Another life event we both agreed to that we see a lot is a new job, more income, right?
Right.
New job, more income is going to trigger the conversation in your head that where you're living now doesn't work as well, and you therefore need to make that move.
Right.
As we move into the last conversation point of our episode today, um, Brent, can you share some of your pearls of wisdom of how to help your clients win in this market right now, especially with it still being a seller's market? So let's start off with those seller clients. How do you help them win?
Well, you got to price the house right so that
Right
you
on.
multiple offers. I mean, it's always about pricing the home right in the current
True.
market. But you know, like there's certain things that you can look for inside of an offer. Um, you know, try to get the simplest offer you can for your client to
Okay.
where, you know, and sometimes that goes down to knowing just being in the business and knowing the lenders and knowing this and that and like maybe their process. That's about it.
What do you mean by the simplest offer? Are you locally seeing buyers come to the offer table with waiving a lot of those typical contingencies, or what do you mean?
So some are going to go as is, right? But like some buyers might be asking for warranties and closing costs and this and that, but then others are asking for nothing, or some want
Got it.
uh they'll try to sneak verbiage in into certain areas to where the seller's ending up paying for something that typically they might not pay for.
Right.
Um Or sometimes, honestly, like this sounds bad, but sometimes it's knowing like, so this one hasn't happened. It happened earlier this year. I got an offer from somebody, and I think I had 2 or 3 offers. This one offer was absolutely amazing. My client loved it,
Okay.
and I hated it because I
Uh-oh.
did not trust the lender.
Got it.
I had numerous issues with the lender, so I didn't tell the agent that they needed to use another lender. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But I asked, would they mind getting a second opinion, because we're heavily leaning towards this offer, at least my client is. And
Right.
yeah, who do you want me to go through? I was like, anybody with a pulse, I really don't care. She said, okay, I'll send it to my preferred lender.
Got
Went to
it.
the preferred lender. The lender was like, no way in hell these people can buy a house. Like, we
Wow.
don't even know why. So kind of knowing certain things to look for or watch, like it can save a lot of headaches, right? Because what would have happened? Like, we would have gone through the process, we would have done this, we would have extended, and the deal would have never closed. My clients would have their stuff packed up. Then
Yep.
the house would fall through after 45 days, probably, maybe 60, because she's good at getting extensions. And then it's like, oh, okay, that person should have never even been approved in the beginning. So then we got to put the house back up and start over.
Yeah.
So it's like really trying to protect your client from those situations as well.
Yeah. That other client probably is like looking in the rearview mirror thinking, oh my gosh, Brent, you saved us from
Right.
misery.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. And to that point, yes, I also agree with you. For our audience members who are watching and listening to this, not all pre-approvals are the same. And as Brent mentioned, at the end of the day, what can be very important is being able to get into the weeds with a lender, ask enough of the right questions to make sure that the pre-approval on paper is as real and as strong as the lender sees that buyer. So a lot of that vetting work becomes very important. So let's now pivot to the other side. How do you help those buyers that you're working with win in today's still competitive market?
I've got a perfect example, man.
Share.
I had one this week. I showed young couple a house, first home.
Got it.
I ended up calling the agent to find out, like, what's the seller looking for? What's simple, like, what are they looking for? What's their situation? Do they got to find a house, or they already have a house?
Yeah.
And these people had already bought a home. So I did get out of the agent, like, so there's 3 or 4 offers on the table already at this point.
Wow.
And my clients were willing to go above and beyond. So that's
Okay.
cool. But I told them, I was like, man, I really don't trust her. Like, not that I don't trust her, but I think she's pulling my leg a little bit here.
Got it.
On some of these offers and, whatever. So instead of us just coming out of the gate with like this absolutely insane offer where we're coming $15,000-$20,000 over, we kept it very clean. And I explained to my clients, like, when there's a bidding war, like, you want the simplest and cleanest offer that you can possibly give the seller. Like, you do not want to be asking for stuff. You don't want, certain things in there or contingencies, like, do your inspection, let's move on, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we did, and we wrote a very clean offer. We included the escalation clause.
Nice.
And we ended up winning the house because of the escalation clause, but we got the house for about $7,000 less than the agent was trying to, like, give me an idea of where things were. And so I feel like that was good. We saved some money. We got the house.
Yeah.
We did an inspection yesterday. It was an as-is transaction.
Okay.
Did our inspection yesterday, moving forward today.
Nice. So, hey, all of you heard it. If you are a buyer in this market right now, taking the pearl of wisdom from Brent Wright, you gotta write a clean, simple offer. You gotta make it easy for the seller to say yes. Right.
Pretty much. I mean, if they've got 3 or 4 things to choose from, right?
Right.
You got to be the winner. Like, you can't, be asking for everything under the sun.
True. Very, very true. Very true. So as we wrap up today's episode of Real Living in Northwest Indiana, for all of you watching, who may you know? It might be yourself. And if it is, that's fine. But who may you know who is looking at their real estate events, selling and or buying? If you know someone who can benefit from Brent's help and my help, it's real simple so that we can start a conversation with your introduction. Simply scan the QR codes that you see here, and we are ready, willing, and able to start that conversation to help them win in today's market. So Brent, as I wrap up, thank you for sharing your time with me this month, in the month of June, as we start summer, and spoken like a very active real estate broker. Hey, Bill, I'm at the peak of the market. I can't be taking vacations, but I'll squeeze in some long weekend stuff. Love it.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Until I see you a few weeks out from now, for now, have a good one.
All right, you too. Thanks.
Bye.